Alrighty, here, let's get this going. Alrighty. Sorry, I'm tired. It's been a long night, and I was streaming all night for 6 hours, and then I had to review it. And anyway, and it's already day, and yeah, I'm a little stiff and sore, tired. But today, I'm not on any server. I'm actually on single player mode right now. And I'm at the UP Bakersfield Yard. What we're going to do today is basically this. You bought Run8. Great. Now what do I do? So that's what we're going to cover in this tutorial. My name is Darren. I've been doing Run8 for quite a while. I do play on the I played on the SoCal server, and I still go over there once in a while. That's part of the Depot Plus, but not in the Depot Plus itself, just part of that group. I also play over on Highball Run8 server with other people, and I'll also soon be playing on another one as well. Been around for quite a while, so I know most of the ins and outs, but I don't know everything, and I will not be afraid to let you know. So having said that, this is your main screen right here, looking at F1. Now I have the Allow External DS program turned on. Every time you log in, if you're trying to run ED, right now it's version 13, you have to manually turn it on. Okay. This is all your basic settings. You can change it however you want. I'll go over slow speed control probably in another video. The graphics. Although I do have multi-monitors going, I'm only using one in my window mode. Now F4, if you hit that while this is going, you'll see that the whole, it doesn't matter, you see that the whole thing changes. Push F4 again and it puts it to full screen automatically. You can change this however you need to for your system. Sorry, there's a bus out there. Over here you can do enable rent-a-conductor, generate the random name. You can turn that on. You can enable it. You can give him his own name if you want. Like name him, I just named this guy Lazy Fart because that's all he does is sits there. He won't get out, throw a switch or nothing. So, but just a little humor. I throw it to there and now it just say generated. Of course, and that's me over there. Load and save. These are all your under extra board, all your presets. You'll have, you can go ahead and read all this stuff. I'm just going to touch on it real quickly. Trains, what trains you have, and it'll explain each one of them and what you need to do. World, now here's the one that I always go by. So it's got all your presets plus the ones that I've made for myself here, and whatever you may make. You'll want to save it under World. This saves everything. It saves all the switches, all the lights, all the current trains, all the AIs, your train, your location, everything. These don't. These are saving certain areas. World will save everything. Autosave I don't even mess with. So you want to do World. Next one you want to look at is Save As. Here you can give it a name and a description. Okay, now again here, extra board saves the current player's location, train saves the current player's train, and World, it saves everything. So that's why I always go by World. Autosave I don't mess with, that's the default. I just leave it there, don't mess with it. Keyboard. If we click on keyboard, these are all your hotkeys, up and down. I mean, it's got everything from A to Z or A to T here. So if you're trying to figure out what does what keys, this is where you're going to want to go and look. And you can change these if you want to. I haven't, but you can change it if you want to. Avatar, flashlight, run, etc. The rail driver, if you have it, I don't have rail driver, so you might want to talk more in depth with somebody that actually has it. But these are the controls for rail driver. License, I'm not going to click on because I'm not going to let you see my license number. But when you purchase Run8, you will want to register that. If you do not, your avatar turns into a pirate. and certain aspects will not work properly within the game. When you do register it, you'll see a green light. I'm thinking it's down here, but it's on the license page, and it'll say it's registered, and it'll give you a number, a registration number. Do not share that registration number with no one. That's why I'm not even clicking on mine, because it will show it. Rail driver, again, options, calibrate test. That's if you have it. I would advise talking to somebody else that actually has that if you want. You're going to start out in Piglet Foamer. No guts, no glory, as it says up here. That's where you're going to want to start out as you get used to it. Later on, when you get ready, you can switch over to a high seniority hogger, and that's going to make changes to your physics and how easy you can to break the couplers and a lot of other stuff. This high light rail unit walkways. If you turn that on, and here's another one, override network times. We'll touch on that. Let me throw a train out here. So I'm going to go left control F1. I'm going to grab a freight loco, and I'm just going to grab one here. Drag it over to there. Left click, drag, place train, and I'm just going to set her down and click the escape button. So there it is. There's a Jeep. Now, what if you want to click that, we'll go back here. Highlight. Now you'll see little dotted lines up on here. Again, click F1. As you scroll around, okay, they're red. You see these little red lines? That's areas that you can actually walk on. And the way to do that is to, I thought it was to click on it or line up with it. I can't remember now, apparently. I used to be able to click on it, but I don't never use it. But that's if you want to walk around. So this is like a little switcher. Okay. The inside. Okay, let's go. Left control F12 or left control F11. I mean, whoops, I got it selected. I guess it's the best place to start right here. I'm sorry. So you left click on your engine. You now have it up top. You got relinquish, delete, and AI recruit. We'll go over all that. Start all locomotives, auto circuit breakers, auto multiple unit, do the dynamic power, auto end of train, auto air brakes. So if you have multiple units, that's where you'd want to do that. Engine start, HEP. I've never seen that turned on anything. I have no clue what that does. Your DPU. Slave and forward and reverse, train weights, single mode. If you want to set your headlight for this, in this case here, it would be short hood lead. If you wanted to turn on the rear, it would be short hood trail or long hood, depending on which one. Run, start, isolate. These are all actually going to be end up in run. Your dynamic brakes you're not going to want to mess with. Handbrakes, you can either release it or apply it. Your feed valve, that's going to be your air. So 90 psi is what is standard for freight trains, and 120 is for passengers. You can click that by going up and down or type in a number there. Train symbol, that's where you can change it to like LS 916J. Click on that. Release. You should see it up here. I don't know why I can't see it. It should show up there, and it's not. I don't know why. Refuel. Hey, you must stop next to a service in there. That's going to depend on where you, how you have your sim set up. That name up in there, that's your co-pilot or your conductor. Let me just delete this real quick and let's get some real ones. So, whoops. Control F1. Okay, so let's clear this. I want to grab some locomotives here. And we'll just start out with, and we'll just grab here, and I want to right click, and you can see it goes to reverse direction. Right click, it'll go straight. You can do a random reorder, random reverse. The thing is, you don't want your lead locomotive being in reverse, long hood forward, in other words. You want that straight. Tells you what's going on over here. I want to put this one in reverse, and I'm just going to place the train and pop it right there. Now, the way to know which way the train's going to be facing, you're going to be looking right at the short nose. So the train's going to be looking at you. So depending on which way you need to go, because the one that's looking at you is going to be the lead, depending on which way you need to go is depending on which way you want to res that into the world. So this right here is an ES 4400 road train. You notice I got 4 locomotives, 3 of them facing forward, 1 of them facing reverse. I'm going to left click on it. Now I can just go start all locomotives, all auto circuit, MP DPU, auto train. That would be the little thing on the end without clicking for this, and auto brakes. Now I'm doing this automatically, but there's still a little thing that I disagree with in how this is going. And one is the engines are starting. It'll start whether you got it in run or not. I mean, it's supposed to do it start there at start, but it'll start in run. So that really right there doesn't actually make a difference, except in the actual movement of the train needs to be in run if you're planning on using its power. The other thing is, okay, talking about right here. Now this is forward right here. See how the train is facing? So right now we know that it is going forward. You cannot change that unless you go, I'll show you how to change that later, but you can't do that right here. But now let's look at the next one down there. Okay, it's another engine and it's facing forward. Now you notice this one lit up, and you also have set a lead unit. So if I was to click that, that is now the lead unit. But the problem is you can't do your air brakes like left shift B. You'll get this little error. So you're not at the either lead or the trailing unit, so you can't do your air brakes correctly. You want to go back and grab that. So let's grab that front one again. That's now the front unit, and I click it and it'll work. Now the other thing I wanted to show is we're going to grab this one again. See how this is set to slave? If you click that, you can change DPU forward, DPU reverse. That's for your DPU setup. This is going to be a slave, and it is facing forward, meaning it's facing the same direction as that one. So that one is correct. This one, same thing. It is facing forward. It is facing the same direction as the lead locomotive, so the slave DPU forward is correct. But this one here is wrong. Now it will run, but there's times where I've come in, people say, hey, I got a problem, my train it's pulling against itself, it's separating, all kinds of stuff. Come check this. You would think that with the auto circuit breakers and the auto MUDPs that it would change this, but it doesn't. So what you got to do is highlight it, click slave, flip that to reverse, and then put that back to slave. Now your DPU is set up appropriately, meaning it is facing the reverse direction of what your lead locomotive down there is facing. So you don't want to have it facing forward like this, and then trying to go, and you're pushing there and it's going forward, but this one thinks that it's going forward and it's going to try pulling that way, and you're going to rip your train in half. And I have seen that done. I have seen that actually happen in the game. So manually come in and change that. Just make that by default. It'll save you time and effort later on down the line when your train starts acting up, and just change that by default. So any locomotive that is backwards or facing the opposite direction of the lead, go slave, set the DPU correctly, and then throw it back to slave. Okay. Over here you can also change single hood, short hood, trail. For this one I'm going to click on a short hood trail. Now if I come back here and I press the J key, right there the headlight came on. If I press the J key again, the bottom ones came on, which are auxiliary. Shift J once turns that off. Shift J again turns the other ones off. So a J, so you got your regular, your auxiliary, or your brights. Shift J turns the brights off. Shift J a second time will turn the regular lights off. So that's for the rear, and you have to actually have that set up as this. Even if it was a long hood trail, if that end was facing out. Like if I come down here and look, you see the lights here. Let me try to get a little bit there. Press J, see how it just came on. J again, these came on. Shift J to turn that off. Shift J to turn that off. So whichever way you want to have it, I always put by default that being the short hood trail, so that you have something at the rear of the train. Sometimes you're going to have locomotives at the rear, just like they do in real life, and you're going to want to have that light right there on. So that's J one time. You can either walk down there, or we can do control, left control, F12, and it's going to throw us at the other end of the train. We are now at the front. This one works with H. There's your headlight, your auxiliary lights. And to turn them off, Shift H. So H, Shift H, okay? Now we're going to hit left control and F11, and that puts us in the cab. I've actually done a video on how to start these, but I'll probably do another one on how to do a complete manual start and shut down. This is your communications board, and this is going to be dependent on what area of the track or the world you are in. You know, as it changes in various areas here. So right now I'm in the UP area, so it'll be channel 14, and the tone is star 54. So if I was to go channel what would I say that was? 14, 1, 4. Notice up here it changed to 14 and it shows you 14. Your volume control is right here where you can turn the volume up and down. And then DTMF is the other one you want to remember. And in this case it was star 54. So I want to go DTMF star 54. And that will ping the dispatcher. Let me pull this over. Okay, this is external dispatcher. You see right there where it's pinging. The dispatcher could just click on that, and then it will talk to you. It's like, okay, who's toning me? Da da da. The only problem with going back to the channel, the only thing that's problem with the channel is that whenever you go to press tab, come on, give me a tab here. Where's my tab button not working? Oh, because I'm in single player, I can't talk to anyone. You would press tab, and it's going to type in whatever channel that you are currently set to. So I just go ahead and leave it at 0, 0. Okay, now it went back to channel 0. That's your main channel. Channel 0 overrides everything. Anybody can talk on channel 0. You can see everything on channel 0. But to type into that channel while on a different channel is a totally different ball game. All right, so go moving on. That's your radio. You got your brakes right here, your independents and your train brakes. Now this does not work like other train simulators. Oh, I still got that on, don't I? Highlight. Where's that? Right here. I was seeing those red lines. It does not work like other train simulators, meaning that you cannot left click and drag. You have hotkeys for all this. So this is your train brake here, your independent brake. Coming over your horn, your dynamic braking, your throttle, and your reverser right there. These are your actual circuits here, which we did the auto, but I'll do a video on how to actually turn all these on manually and start your train. By left clicking on them, it turns it on and off. L is your enter your cab for like at nighttime. It'll light up right there and whoops, over there as well. Your multifunction display right here, by pressing Z. You see how this changed, and then you can go C, just keep going on C's. You actually have one further one right here, and X to go the other way. I'll do a video on fencing here. If you press Z again, it's going to switch to the other one. Now some of them, like the SD40s, will have an X. The ES400s will do this here. So you can switch again between. This is your basic train information. I'm going to go back over to here, and I'm going to put that there and hit it again. It turns everything off. So right now I got your basic train information. You got your speedometer, your brake information, pretty much everything. Your train number, what position your reverser's in, and so on. Pressing F5 will release the parking brakes. Pressing Shift F5 will apply your parking brakes. To get this up here at the top, you must be in possession of an engine. So we'll start out, it'll be nothing. So you got left shift C as in Charlie. It gives you all your basic information that you're going to want if you want to run it up there, or you can get it right down here. You can go left shift V as in victory, and that's going to give you your length of your feet, how many axles, how many HPT, which I'll show you later, and how many tons your train is, counting your locomotive. HPT is how many horsepower per ton. There's an actual formula, and you probably have like from 1.5 to 3.5, maybe 4 HPT, which is an overpowered train. It doesn't mean that it has 5 horsepower. It's just 5 HPT. There's a whole formula for that. I'm not going to go into that. Left shift B is your braking. So each one of those E's is for an engine. So we know we have 4 engines. It's white. All the brakes are off. Shift N give you your track speed and any switches. There'll be some more information if I was on a main line. Left shift X. You want to know where you are because it does not have a world map like other train simulators. Right now I am facing 358, so you notice as I rotate around that changes. So it kind of gives you an idea of which direction you're facing. So kind of think of it like a map. The tile, your XZ, if you're having a problem with someone and you need help, you're having an issue with the track or subs, they may ask you what's the tile number. You give them this tile number, the people can go right straight to it and take a look at it. And just back to shift C. Okay, horn is a space bar. With the 4400 and the SD70s, the bell comes on automatically. You can turn that off and on manually by pressing the period key, the dot key on your keypad. Okay. Pretty much it's pretty easy. I'm going to just go over real quickly. Insert and delete above the arrow keys is your reverser. So that puts me forward by hitting the insert, going down to delete, put me in neutral, and then into reverse, back to insert, back to neutral. So it's insert and delete is what's going to change your reverser. Home is your train brake. Each time you hit home, you see it barely moves, but it is moving. That's a single application. If you need to do a full train brake, you would hold down the right control button and then press the home. Now I just did a full complete train brake, and if you look over here, you'll see what's going on. Emergency reservoir down at, equalizing reservoir, I'm sorry, down at 65. Brake pipe is at 65. Brake cylinders, 32 and climbing. Main reservoir is at 130. Rear is at 65. Flow is at 0. Your brakes are fully applied. Left shift B as in Baker, and you'll notice that it's all E's at this point. You are in full complete train brake right now. To release it, all you gotta do is hit the end key. That throws that back. You watch here, watch your flow. Again, it takes time. You'll have more out here as you get cars on there. And now you're pretty much ready to go. You can hit the F7 key, which resets everything pretty much automatically. The other thing is your independent brake. Now BC is your brake cylinder. So if you want to apply a single application of your independent brake, you'd use the page up, and that's this one right down here. You see it's barely moving. But if you look at your brake cylinder, you'll see it's changing. Now to do a full independent, again, right control, page up. It'll take it all the way up to a full complete, which would be about 72, 75. Okay. To release, you can do it manually, one step at a time by using the page down, or control page down to release all of it. And there we go. Alright, so let's step out by hitting the F12 key, and you can walk around. Left shift F12 will allow you to fly. F12 will put you back on the ground. If you're flying and you try to go around, you can actually go through the ground. Yeah, so you got to hit F12 to land. I'm basically using the WASD keys, E for up and Q for down. Control F12 will toss you from the front to the rear of the trains automatically. Now I'm going to delete this, and we're going to build our very first consist. So that's your basic constructions. Left control F1. I've got some locomotives. Let's just go down here. We can just pick out some cars. These are auto racks. Anything that's white means you have all the textures for them. Anything that's like this here is grayed out. you have the cards, you just don't have the texture for it. So like if I was to grab these and highlight them, drag them over here, let's say I throw it down, throw it right there, left click and hit escape to release, right click and hold, and we'll move here. You see how they're grayed? They're just showing Run8. That's because you have the car, but you don't have the texture, so it's not going to look like what it should. So that's what that means. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of them. Let's get back over here. And this is good enough. Let's go back and get rid of these. You can delete selected. You can grab multiple ones here and do delete selected. You can do a complete clear if you wanted to. The save trains, you pull them in here and then you drag them over to here and you can compile trains, which we'll get into that. So let's get back to our freight locomotives. So I was pulling the UP. I want to grab 4. I want to flip that one backwards. I may flip that one backwards just for GP. I can go all freight cars. And again, anything that's grayed out as a texture, you'll have to buy. You can buy that from the server, Run8 website. Whale cars. Anything that's just plain white means you've already got the textures for it. Some come with, some you have to buy. So, to make like a realistic, you got regular and then you got dirty. You kind of want to mix that up. Excuse me. It pretty much works like anywhere else. If you left shift and click, you can grab the whole area. If you left control and click, you can select different ones. Once you've got them selected, left click, hold, drag, and release, and it goes over. So we're going to go ahead and just drag all these over. I want to go ahead and just throw some cars together. I'm actually going to grab all of these, drag them in, boom. I don't care where it goes. Whale card, I'm not going to worry about. Center beam, flat card. Let's just grab all of them, throw them up over here. I'm just dropping them anywhere. You can actually drop them in a specific area. Like if I was to try to grab again, left click, hold, drag where that green line is at. That green line right there, that's where it's going to go. Right there. Just drop some more up in there. I'll just grab some box cars here. I'm just going to grab all of them. Same thing. Left click, hold, go down to the bottom, drop it right there. Scroll down. Now you notice over here it's giving you some information. I've got 75 cars plus 4 locomotives, so that's a pretty good train. It's almost a mile long, so we got some good length in there. Weight HPT for these empty is 6.3. If I had it fully loaded, the weight would be 10,000 tons with HPT of 1.8. So this gives you your basic information when you're compiling a train. Now we want to place the train, so I want to click place train. Come over here, we're on my track, left click one time. There we go. And because I've still got it and it's still thinking I'm wanting to place another one, just hit the escape key and that finishes it. Now we have our big train. So by flying up in there, whoops, control F12, there we go. And by flying you can see here what you got. You got a long train. And again, control F12. Oh, I don't have a train selected. There we go. Now F12 put you on the ground. Now we're at the rear. Control F12 again, put you back at the front, back at the rear. That EOT is end of train. You could actually do it manually, put that on, and there it is showing the mark at the end of the train. Or you can have a locomotive back there, which I'll be doing video later on multiple. So again, let's grab this. We're going to put short hood lead. This one is going to be in the middle, which is it is. This one's going to be in the middle, which it is. And this one I'm going to put as short hood trail, so I can change that light. Now again, we need to look here, switch this to reverse, put that back to slave. This one is fine because that one is facing forward. This one here, same thing. Switch that back so that it is telling the DPU computer which way it is facing, so it knows when you say forward which way is forward. Now with this selected here, this train select, I want to go down to tag or tagger. Here is where you set and whether you want them full, You can do it like this here, full. You can do it manual drag, one at a time, or you can highlight and select, you know, all of them at one time. Click full, random, or empty, or you can drag it to select all of them. I'm going to do a random. Now while they're all highlighted, I left click here to the side, backspace, and I can give it a tag. So I'm just going to call this training, which is not a real tag that you would train. Notice how it's typing it and everything. So if you're trying to build a consist or a train that has the same tag, like you're going to drop something off at one of the locals, it's all going to the same place. You can do it like this. Hit enter and boom, there you go. And over here we'll change this from none. We'll switch this to TRA. I'm going to do TT for training. Just that's not an actual tag in the game, but that's what I'm going to use for right now. Now going back to Control F1, while I have control of it, I'm going to click clear, which gets rid of everything. Now I'm going to do copy player train. So this now has saved all the changes that we just now made to it, where we did the loads and the tags. It's now updated and got a copy of it. You can also come here to stored units, copy player train. You may want to grab, you know, some cars, and I'm going to drag them over here. We'll just real quickly, I'll show you here because it's not going to worry. Okay, so now I compiled the train. I got everything in there. Run it back over here, drop it. I can do a random reverse. See how it just randomly reverse things. If I do a random reorder, keeping the engines up front, it'll also do the random reverse. So I want to clear that. I want to clear that. I want to copy player train, available units, and escape. All right. Now, we have our train. Unfortunately, I don't want to start here, so I'm going to delete this one, but I got a copy of it. And with my, I press function 3, and we are going to go up here to like the cable crossover area. I'm going to click on the switch. That teleports me over. Now remember, when you clicked on the switch right here, you see it's flashing. That means I'm actually standing over it. Facing into the switch, I can do which way I'm facing. Again, remember the train is going to come in on the, it's going to come in facing you. Left click, hit escape, it's rezzed in, and there's your train. Now I need to find out. I want to grab it. Now I can see here that I'm facing the right direction, the way I want to go. The orange one here shows that that's the car or cars behind it, depending on how long your train is or how far it'll stretch out. The red, this dot here, which will also be green if it's running, shows your locomotive. So this tells me that my locomotive is going this way, which is the way I want to go to end up back to where we were at, but I'm not going to run the whole route. So I know I'm facing the right direction. Again, make sure short hood lead. I don't know why that didn't save. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a automatic start. Automatic circuit breakers, MU, EOT brakes. While that's going, again, check your air pressure. Make sure if you have any problem with your brakes and you got no brakes, step out, click on it, look, make sure that's at 90. If you don't have anything there, if it's 0, you can actually come in here and type it in, you know, to what you need it. But all freight must have 90. All passengers must have 120. HH to turn my lights on. Left control, function 11 puts me in. Turn my switches on. Actually, you don't need that one, and L is that first one. That's your interior light. So, this is what's going on. Again, I'm going to do a video later on how to start and stop everything manually, one by the switches. Of course, they're different between different locomotives. So, to get rolling, F5. I'm going to let's just see. Now, see, I'm on a hill, so I'm actually going to stop that real quick. And I did Shift F5 to put my emergency brakes on. Be careful doing that on a server though, because you can cause issues. Right now I'm on here. Being that I'm facing down here, I know I'm going to start rolling. I'm going to press the divide key over the number pad. Whoops, I got to have forward first. Then the divide key. Now you notice that end changes. It goes set. Takes a few seconds. You'll hear the engine changing. Now you see it's at B0. And you'll notice that, well, in the SD70s, the text that'll be right here will be in orange. Now my reverser is set. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press the minus key. It's just the opposite of the throttle. The throttle is the plus key to give you power, the minus key to subtract power. With your dynamic, it's just the opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to 50%. Now I'm going to go ahead and press F5, Control and Control page down. It's releasing all my brakes. I'm starting to roll already. I can hit F7, that'll clear all at once. And now start increasing my dynamics. And watch your speed. Left shift in shows me the track speed is 21. My next signal is at 1.1 miles, and this signal we just passed showed that it's clear, so I can do the full track speed. And you get your train going. To a stop, we can either do a single application of the brake by hitting the home, and you can do continue doing it, and you'll see you'll hear it, you'll see your information changing a little bit. Or you can do control, right control home, and do a full brake. So now we're at a full train brake, plus all the way down to take B to 0. Hit the divide key again. Now we're back in regular throttle. Brakes are grabbing. And it's having a hard time, so I'm going to go ahead and press Control and page up. That puts my independence to full as well. So now I have a full train brake application and a full independent brake application. And that is all there is. That is the basics. And switch it back. Basically, how to get your train going, how to get your train to come to a stop. The only time you want to use dynamics is when you're going downhill, anything over, say, 30 miles an hour. If you're down about 15 miles an hour, you can use the dynamics, but you're really not getting what you need. At that point, you might as well just use straight brakes. Can you use train brakes and dynamics together? Yes, and in many instances you will. Try not to take, sorry, we got the yard crews out there. Try not to take the brake dynamics. Sorry if I speak a little loud, the guy's walking by. Try not to take your dynamics past 75. Now they will go up to 100. I mean up to 99. Let me throw this into forward. Set the dynamics. It takes about 5 seconds, 10 seconds for it to rev up. Switch it over, and minus. Just keep going. Try not to go above 75 right there, and that is this right here, B75. You can go all the way up to 99. It's as high as you can go, but if you got to go that high, you might just pull on a full brake train. So try to keep it no higher than 75. Okay. Now while that's going, you see I cannot get out of that. I cannot change my reverser. I cannot turn it off. I have to bring the brake dynamic back down to, 0. Hit the divide key, that turns it off, and now I can change my reverser. Can you use dynamics in reverse? Yes, you can. Figured I better mention that. Like right now it's in reverse, dynamics, setup, and you can do it. The purpose of the dynamics is to help slow the train down without using up all your air. Can you run out of air? Yes, you can. So that's the purpose of a dynamics, to save your air pressure and not blow all your air. If you do blow all your air, you need to start and refresh everything and get your air built back up and Shift B, now you see, it's what I was talking about earlier. You see, this is the length of my train. This would be the end of my train. If I had the locomotive down there, it would have an E. I have full train brake application. The bottom line is the brake pipe going, I think it's going out. The top line is going in. What kind of feedback I'm going to have, and by pressing the N key, in this case, you'll see it'll start to change. I know I'll start rolling here directly, but because I'm in neutral, I got independent still on. So let me go ahead and release that as well. And you can see now I'm starting to move already, but you'll see how it's changing colors. That I don't want. Now I'm going to do a full application. Again, you see that it's changing colors. And I'm coming to a stop. That's as it's charging up the lines. You see everything is changing. Boom. Coming to a stop. Now we have a full charge. Again, that's left shift Baker. So that's basically how to get your train up and going and what's going on. Again, that's your bell. You can turn that on manually, turn it off manually with the period key on your keypad. That's the period key on your keypad, not the one on your keyboard. Horn is your space bar. Now, that some of the other engines that, good golly, my timing was bad. Like the SD40s, the Jeeps, like what I had out earlier, that run separate. The horn, the bell will not come on automatically. If you want to practice on hills, cable crossover, this is your basic Mojave map. If you're facing this way to the left here, you're going to be going a lot of downhill. If you have this locomotive on this end of the train going this way, like toward Mojave here, the yard, Mojave Yard, you'll be going pretty much uphill. Now this area starting right here at Allard all the way up through to Tehachapi here, that's a lot of up and down, mostly downhill going to the left as you're going towards UP Bakersfield and Burlington Northern Bakersfield yards. Okay, so if you purchase Mojave, you get all of this, about 150 miles. You get the Barstow, which is your main Barstow hump area, and you also get the needle sub. But you get a lot of territory. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, we're back at Mojave. If, for example, you buy Mojave, but then you do not have Cajon, okay, and you want to go to San Bernardino, you can't get there. So you will have purchased, say you purchased LA area, okay, but you only have the Mojave. Yeah, you purchased it, but you can't get to it unless you res in over here, because you have to have the Cajon. So that's the reason why I'm mentioning this. Now the Baker Subfield division, you can buy that and get to it from Mojave, Barstow, Needles, and then if you want to go to Seligman, you have to buy that one, and that's accessible. And that right now, that's the end of the line right there. Let's go back here, but you're going to want, my suggestion, your next one to buy would be the Cajon sub. So we'll click on Cajon. That's West Colton Yard. Everything up in here, you can get to the Mojave, you can get to the San Bernardino, you can get to Barstow. You're going to want to get this because there's no way you're going to get to San Bernardino without this. So I wanted to point that out. So your next map or route that you want to buy should be Cajon. And you're looking at quite a bit of track here. Alrighty, I hope that'll be enough to get you started. Feel free to keep subscribe to my page here. I'm going to, oh yeah, let me show you about shutting down. Okay, so all my trains are running. What I like to do is, personally, I like to start at the back, turn it off. If you don't turn it off, they will continue to run. Now you notice I have to turn off each engine individually. And then I'll do the last one. Now they're all stopped. They're not sitting there running. You turn your headlights off, Shift H, Shift H. If you have a rear one on, Shift J, make sure that they're off. Make sure your bell's not sitting there. I've seen people doing that, just letting the bell run when they switch. Turn the bell off, basically shut everything down. I'll go into more advanced shutdown procedures in another video. We got all that, then you can just relinquish it. Or, let's say we have it, and you want to AI it out, which is artificial intelligence. Even if it's stopped, you just click AI Recrew. That AI crew is going to take over. You notice the pre-existing end of train was changed. It's got an AI engineer on board. It's starting it up, and it'll go through its whole start process. The lights will come on, the horn will sound, the bell will go, and off we go. Oh, I should have showed you left control F8 once, showed you the train unit numbers, twice to show you the destination. So there's that TT, that AI will come up automatically. You do not have to type in AI to AI it. It comes up automatically. I see a lot of people that will type in AI and then you see AI. And you also have left shift F8, which is milepost tags on and off, and right control F8, which is the industry tags on and off. See, now he's rolling. Now I'm going to go ahead and just click hold position, and he'll start to come to a stop. It says stopping. You can do a stop immediately, which is the same thing as pressing the shift F5 basically, but while this is going, left click to release. You can delete them, or you can tell him to relinquish when stopped, and it'll say relinquishing. Once that clears, you can take over an AI train. So this is how you take over an AI train. Relinquishing, and it's now available. I now have it. And then you can just delete it, or you could delete it while AI'd. There's pages on your signals, which signals vary from UP, BNSF, CSX, East Coast, West Coast, but there's a signaling aspect page that you can download. Just try to learn the BNSF ones. I even mess up from time to time, but it'll take a second. You'll notice that it's now gone. The train is no longer showing there. And that is basically it. To teleport around, you just put yourself over a cursor and over a switch, press the space bar, and there you are. I just happen to know, I just went back over to basically where we started at, and this is basically where we was running the train in when we first started. Alrighty, I hope that will conclude this tutorial of I bought Run8. Now what do I do? Get into it, dig in, get used to it, learn the controls, and if you see me over there on the highball server under Darum, feel free to take a look. Yeah, and you'll get to that with the F2 key, the function 2. Remember, F1 is your help. Never share your license information with anybody. Make sure you register it. On a server, you will see each other's avatars, and it'll be dressed as a pirate if you do not have that thing registered. So everybody will know that there's a possibility that this software has been pirated. It could not be pirated. It could be just that you didn't register it, and they'll tell you to go ahead and register it. Outside of that, I hope you all have a great day. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and see you online.